Okay, so we need to talk about something that's been hiding in the Pokemon games since literally the beginning. I know, another Pokemon theory, right? But here's the thing, this one's different. Because I was reading through the Canalave library in Diamond and Pearl, that place where nobody actually stops to read the books, and I found something absolutely wild. The games are straight up telling us that humans are Pokemon. Not like a metaphor, not like we're all connected, like literally. Humans are Pokemon. And once you see the evidence, you can't unsee it. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to look at every NPC, every trainer, every person in the Pokemon world completely differently. Let me walk you through this. Alright, so full transparency here. I've been playing Pokemon since Red and Blue came out. Like, I've beaten these games multiple times, caught them all, done the Pokédex completion thing. And for years, I never thought twice about the humans in the Pokemon world. They're just trainers, right? The people who catch and battle Pokemon. But then I was playing through Diamond again because apparently I have nothing better to do, and I actually stopped to read the books in the Canalave library. That library that's just sitting there in the game that nobody ever pays attention to. Yeah, turns out there's some wild stuff in there. Like creation myths, folklore, stories about the history of the Pokemon world. And buried in all that text, evidence that completely changes how you understand the entire franchise. Because the truth is, humans aren't just living alongside Pokemon. We are Pokemon. And the games have been telling us this the whole time. Let me explain what I mean. So first, let's talk about what's actually written in these library books. In the Canalave library, there's this piece of Sinnoh folklore that says, there once were Pokemon that married people. There once were people who married Pokemon. This was a normal thing because long ago, people and Pokemon were the same. Read that again. Long ago, people and Pokemon were the same. Not people and Pokemon lived together, not people and Pokemon were friends. They were the same. And if you look at the original Japanese translation, it's even more explicit. The literal translation says that human-Pokemon marriages were acceptable because there was no distinction between the two species. Now, I know what you're thinking. These are just myths, right? Just in-game folklore that doesn't mean anything. But here's the thing. Other myths in that same library, they're confirmed to be true. Like, the library tells you about Arceus creating the universe, creating Dialga and Palkia to control time and space. And we know that's canon, because you literally encounter these Pokemon in the games. So if those myths are true, why wouldn't this one be? But okay, maybe you're still skeptical. Maybe you think it's just flavor text. Well, there's way more evidence than just ancient folklore. Because the Pokédex, the most definitive source of information in the Pokemon world, is full of examples of humans becoming Pokemon. Real quick, before we get into the Pokédex entries, if you're finding this interesting so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps the video reach more people. And if you want more deep dives like this, where we actually go through the in-game evidence that everyone overlooks, go ahead and subscribe. Alright, back to the theory, because this is where it gets really dark. So let's talk about Yamask. Yamask is this ghost-type Pokemon from Generation 5, kind of creepy looking, carries around a mask. And here's what the Pokédex says about it. Each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was a human. Sometimes they look at it and cry. When it was human. Not it looks like a human face, not it resembles a human. When it was human. This is the Pokédex, the official in-game encyclopedia of Pokemon. It's literally telling us that Yamask used to be a person. And Yamask isn't the only one. Phantump, that little ghost grass type from Generation 6, its Pokédex entry says these Pokemon are created when spirits possess rotten tree stumps. They prefer to live in abandoned forests. And then it clarifies. According to old tales, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died while lost in the forest. So, dead child plus tree stump equals Pokemon. Rated E for everyone, right? But it gets even weirder, because this goes all the way back to Generation 1. Look at Kadabra's entry in Fire Red. It happened one morning. A boy with extrasensory powers woke up in bed, transformed into Kadabra. Not a boy became friends with Kadabra, not a boy caught a Kadabra. He transformed into one. time and time again, we see humans, both alive and dead, becoming Pokémon. It's almost like death is just another evolutionary trigger, like you die and instead of just being dead, you evolve into a ghost type, which is pretty messed up when you think about it. But there's more. So we've got the mythology, we've got the Pokédex entries, but there's also a biological connection. Because if humans really did evolve from Pokémon, the same way humans evolved from apes in the real world, then there should be an evolutionary progression, right? And believe it or not, there is. Think about it. You've got Solosis, literally called the cell Pokémon. It's a single-celled organism surrounded by cytoplasmic liquid that protects it from harsh environments. From there, Pokémon body types become more and more complex over time. Eventually, you get to the bipedal Pokémon, the tailless ones, the ones that walk upright, the ones that look the most human. And here's where it gets interesting. What type of Pokémon are the smartest? Psychic types, right? Alakazam has an IQ of 5,000. Metagross has 4 brains working together. So is it a coincidence that the bipedal, tailless Pokémon, the ones closest to humans, have the most psychic types of any body-shaped category? Is it a coincidence that there's literally a human-like egg group in the games? Pokémon like Machop, Hitmonlee, Mr. Mime, Gardevoir, they're all in the human-like egg group. These are basically the missing link between Pokémon and humans. And we just talked about how a human kid literally woke up one day as a Kadabra. So from mythology, from Pokédex entries, from biology, everything points to humans being Pokémon. But if that's true, then why don't humans have special abilities like Pokémon do? So here's the question everyone's probably asking right now. If humans are Pokémon and most humans don't have crazy powers, why don't they have special abilities like Pokémon do? But here's the thing, some of them do. Think about the psychic trainers in literally every Pokémon game. Their sprites always show Pokéballs floating around them telekinetically. That's not just for show, that's an actual ability. And then there's Riley from Diamond and Pearl. He's introduced as an Aura Guardian, someone who can sense and control aura, the same energy Pokémon like Lucario and Riolu use. So some humans do have powers, they're just rare. Most people, they're probably just normal types. But here's the real question. If humans are Pokémon and most humans don't have crazy powers, how did we survive in a world full of creatures that can literally melt your face off? The answer? Our minds. We may not have giant water cannons strapped to our backs, we may not be able to control time and space, but we can strategize, we can plan, we can build. And that makes us the most dangerous Pokémon of all. So, what do you think? Does this change how you see the Pokémon world? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.